So in this video, I'm going to be putting all of the towers in TTS, not including event towers, on a tier list from S to F. And by the way, I'm not, or I should say I am including Necromancer because it's more like a hardcore tower than an event tower. Starting off with the basic Scout. Scout is a pretty good early game. I don't know about pretty good, but Scout is actually not terrible for early game, especially if you're like a new player. I'll put it in C tier because it actually can be somewhat okay, but it falls off quickly in the mid game, and like it's only good for new players. Sniper I'm putting in D tier because I think I've maybe used Sniper twice, and it was for a challenge with my friend. It's just not useful. Paintball or Easy F. It's probably, in my opinion, the worst tower in the game. It has abysmal DPS, it's too expensive, terrible splash damage, and has no hidden detection ever. Demo Man I'm putting in C tier also with Scout because even though it does have splash damage, its stats aren't amazing. I feel like it's a bit expensive for the damage it gives, but it's not terrible. Hunter is going in. I'm wondering between B and C. I'm gonna put it back in C though, just because if you do spam it, it can actually do decent. Like you can solo easy mode with it, but it's Hunter. Like it's not that good. Soldier, I'll put regular Soldier in B tier. It's good. I think if you micro, you can solo Molson with it. But it's a starter tower, so it can't be that high. But I'd say by far it's definitely the best out of the starter towers. Actually, let me swap these around because I think Demo Man is better than Scout, and Scout is better than Hunter. Then up next is Militant. I'm also putting Militant in B tier up on par with Soldier, but I'm gonna put it ahead of Soldier in B tier simply because it can reach higher DPS. It is more expensive, but it can reach higher DPS, and you can solo Molten with it. And I'm just putting in B tier, not A or S, because again, it's just not good enough to beat those. Medic, put Medic in A tier. It's definitely a really good tower, but it's the only two things it's good for is healing your base and removing stuns. But those are two really important things, so that's why I put it in A. The one thing stopping it from being S is the fact you don't always need base healing or stun removal. Like if you're using a tower like the Engineer, you don't need Medic. Freezer I'm putting in B tier. I think because the old Freezer's is easy F, but the new one isn't actually that bad. It can give good soloing, mediocre DPS, but it's not too expensive, and that's why I put it in B. Farm is an easy S. Farm is by far an easy S, just because there's a lot of game modes that will be nearly, if not impossible, to beat without Farm. It's also just probably one of the best support towers in the game. It's just amazing. Shotgunner I'm putting in A tier. Before the nerf, I put it in S, but I'm just putting it in A because it does have really good early game defense, but it got nerfed pretty hard. Rocketeer I'm putting above Freezer, but below Soldier in B tier. It's like good DPS, but expensive. Trapper I'm putting best in C tier, just because it's not that useful. I rarely ever use Trapper, and it's just not that useful. Ace Pilot depends. In regular game modes, I put it second best in B, but in hardcore, I put it second best in A. So I'll just put it last in A. It's a really good tower, it has really good value, but it's just so unreliable. Pyromancer I'm putting above Shotgunner, below Medic in A. It's really good. Its main use is melting defense, which can be really useful, but DPS wise, it's terrible. Military base I'm putting probably worse than C tier. Just because, worse than B tier. Just because it's not great. I don't really use military base that much. It's just not very good. But it's still not bad, though. Because it can help a lot. Crook Boss, I'm putting third best in B, just behind Soldier. Actually, no, I'll put it ahead of Soldier. Not ahead of Milton, ahead of Soldier. Oh my god. Just because it can reach definitely higher levels of DPS than Milton or Soldier, but it's much more unreliable and more expensive. Electroshocker, I'm putting best in B tier. Actually, I'm putting second best in B tier. It's really good. It can reach really good levels of DPS. But the problem is placement limit, and it never gets hit detection. It has a placement limit of 4, and it never gets hit detection. But it's still good. Commander, I'm putting best in A. It was better before the nerf, but after the nerf, it's best in A now. It's definitely a really good support tower, but it's not as good as it used to be. It gives less of a buff and is much more expensive. Warden, I'll put it middle in A tier. It's really good, has good stalling. The problem is I rarely use it just because there's towers that outclass it. Cowboy, I'll put near the lower end of B tier. It's not very useful. I don't use it very often, but it does something. It can generate money. DJ, I'm putting just below farm in S tier because it's arguably one of the best support towers. It can give a 35% range buff and a 20% discount. Just crazy. It's OP. That's really all I have to say about that. Normal minigunner. A normal minigunner I'll put on the higher end of A tier. It's really good. You can easily solo multi with it. Can't solo fallen with it though, I don't think. But still a really good tower and not terribly expensive. It's 8,000 points. Ranger, I'm putting just below minigunner in A tier. It's a good tower. It's good. It's super reliable. The problem is it's ridiculously expensive, like 63,000 cash to max out, which is a lot. That's why it's in A tier, not in S tier, or higher in A tier. Turret, I'm putting worst in A tier. Really good. Can reach high levels of DPS, but it's way too expensive. It costs like 60,000 cash to max out, or like 58,250. Saw the video I made like yesterday about it. But it can reach good DPS, but the other problem is placement limit. It has a placement limit of 5, which really ruins it. I gotta breathe for a second because I keep talking. Mortar, I'm putting probably middle in A tier. It's really good. It has good splash damage, good damage. But like with what was one here? Like with Electroshocker, the problem is placement limit. A placement limit of 4, not great. If it had a higher placement limit, it'd be higher. Pursuit, I'm putting just above Ace Pilot. I think it would work better if it had more DPS, but it just doesn't have high enough DPS to make up for its cost, unreliability, and requirements to get it. You have to either reach level 100 or pay 1,500 Robux, which is just no. It's just no. Then Mercenary Base, arguably the best of the units. I'll put Mercenary Base low to mid A tier right there above Shotgunner. It's really good, but the main use for it is it's probably its damage buff. It's 20% damage buff at max level, kind of like the War Machine. So I just think, but the problem is like it's the most expensive tower in the game. It costs 71,400 cash to max out, which is too much for only a 20% damage buff. In the units, the units are strong, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. Brawler is S tier below DJ. It's really good. Like it's insane. It's insane in early game, good in mid game, decent in late game, and it's cheap. So I just put it there. I'm pretty sure 2 of them can survive until wave 9 and Fallen. In some maps, wave 10. Then, actually, no, I'm saving these 3 for last. Let's do Gold Quirk Boss. Golden Quirk Boss, I'm putting it the worst in it. Actually, not worst. I'll put it like midway through A tier. I've never used Golden Quirk Boss before, but people say it's okay. It's decent in early game, but it's really good in the mid game. But personally, I think the mid game isn't as important as the early game, so I put it in A tier instead of higher A tier or lower S tier. Then Gold Pyromancer, I'll put worst in A tier. Actually, no, that's below. Actually, no, I'll put it just above regular Pyromancer. The only really good thing about it is it has slightly better stats and hidden detection from level 0. And I guess it's cheaper, but it still has the same problem as regular Pyromancer, which is DPS. It's not a ton better, so that's why I put it there. Golden Cowboy, I'll put best in B tier. It's not worth 50,000 coins. It's not worth 50,000 coins. Like I tried it earlier. I thought it was okay. It's not bad, but I don't think it's worth 50,000 coins worth. But definitely better than regular Cowboy. Golden Soldier is, I'll put it just below Warden. It's really good in early game, definitely really good in early game. But it's definitely outclassed by things like Brawler and Golden Scout. The Golden Scout I'm putting probably above. Actually, I'll put it just behind Brawler. It's really good for early game, one of the best. Cheap and effective, but it falls off really quickly. Unlike Brawler, like Gold Scout is almost ineffective in the mid and late game. That's why I put it there. Necromancer, I'm kind of torn on this one because levels 0 to 3 are absolutely terrible, but max level is amazing. So to balance it out, I'll put it in mid B tier. I think it can be good, but it's just kind of weighed down by its earlier levels, and it's kind of expensive to max out. Alright, now the three that you've probably all been waiting for. Let's start Golden Minigunner. The Golden Minigunner, I'm probably either going to put best in A or worst in S. I'll go worst in S, because it can reach 129 DPS, which is a lot. Not terribly expensive for a tower like that. Not terribly expensive, it's like 25,000 cash to max out. Which is technically a lot, but I think it's worth it. And the main part, the best part though, is it has no place limit, which means you can just spam them. Then Accelerator, not F. I'll put Accelerator best in S tier because it has insane DPS. The only real thing I don't like about Accelerator that much is the fact that it's just unreliable. Like, it's not very reliable because of the overcharge mechanic and the fact that they nerfed it. So that way, it kind of has at max level. It does technically have more overcharge but less damage. And I feel like Accelerator is kind of just a worse version of this. Engineer. Engineer is definitely best in S tier because it easily has the most DPS out of any tower here, at least individually. It's semi-immune to stuns because sentries are immune to stuns, and even the Engineer tower itself has pretty good DPS, almost as good as a max golden minigunner. So here's my tier list. Start the worst was Paintballer, best is Engineer. Here's everything in between. If you can comment down below any other towers that you think should be higher or lower, or just like if you think this is good, just comment down below your opinions about it, and I'll try to write back. Until then, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.